Hey guys, it's Glenn for G&P Custom Fabrications. On today's video, I'm going to be addressing an issue I've had since I built Sketchy, and that was a lack of leg room. I had an issue with the kickdown rod on the transmission. The angle of it kind of got into the space where my feet needed to be, and so initially my floorboard had a really steep angle to the back of it. In order to clear that rod, I have since remedied it by putting a kickdown cable in place of the rod, which totally eliminated that issue. So then I need to make a new floor pan. So I removed the original floor pieces that I had made, and in this video you'll see the process I went through in order to make a new floor pan. So let's get started. Alright, so up to this point, I was taking the floor out and the seat. It's kind of the same thing. Making room so that I could go ahead and work on still removable at this point. I'm going to basically repeat that on the passenger side, and I'm going to make a pattern and cover this right here, which is what I'll do first. So I've got this side finished up. See, back in the back where these touch each other, that will probably be where I secure everything together. Will be like that. I'll run a bolt through there instead of welding everything together, and we'll see how all that goes. I put a lip on that pan, on the floor pan, to go up against the firewall so I can bolt those together. So yeah, that's my next step, is do some cardboard pattern for this top piece. So let's get started. Now here I'm laying that cardboard on there so I could see just how low it could go without being an issue with hitting stuff while hitting the linkage there. So I can actually come back and cut this wall here down. I'll come back with the cutoff wheel when I cut that and make sure I stay on the top side of that line. I know I'll be okay. I'll cut this piece out and I'll weld them together. See how that does. Okay, I was getting ready to break out the cutoff wheel and start cutting that up, and I forget that I've got this hand shear that I got at auction a while back. Finally got it mounted to my welding fabrication table, and so we'll go ahead and be using it. I used it cutting out the outside radius on the firewall and cutting some pieces for it and for the floorboard. I'm not used to using it yet, so I don't think of it right away. So we'll go ahead and get this piece cut out, and then I'll trim down the floor pan, and we'll get that welded together. And for anybody that's curious, the thickness that I've been using on all this floorboard and firewall and all that is 5/32, and my buddy Eddie was able to get me some sheets of it, so that's why I've been using it. Was free, so that's why I got it. Of course, I'd rather have thinner and bead roll it to bring back the strength of it and give me some strength, but I don't have a bead roller. And this thickness of metal seems like it's right on the edge. It's not too heavy, but it's not so thin that you really need to reinforce it with bead rolling or anything. So it seems to work pretty good, other than being kind of difficult to weld at times, but that's, I'm sure, my fault. And then what I'm left with is these recesses that way, the inside curve that I won't be able to get with the shear. So I'll go back with probably the flap wheel, probably be the easiest one, because I just need to take a little bit out there, so it's not a lot to have to hog out. Okay, that gets me a lot closer. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this, redo my line here. The purpose of cutting that out, down is just to lower that whole wall that'll be up against your right foot. The right foot, kind of give you a little more room to move it around in there. It's going to be tight. Okay, I hadn't been doing it before when I was welding, but this material, the steel, clearly has some kind of coating on it. So I'm going to try prepping it better than I had been, even though it looks like good clean steel. It almost acts like it's got some kind of like galvanized coating to it that gives off a lot of smoke, and I just think I probably need to clean it up real good before I try to weld it. I tried tacking it on the ends and didn't realize I had got a gap here in the middle, so I went to weld it. I blew out some holes, so that's what that was all about. Alright, let's see how that fits. Alright, that's coming along. Thinking I do one more. Do one that ties the whole thing straight across, upright. Like I had here. starting off with like a 3-inch wide strap. Take it all the way to the end, and then that will tie up for my next part. Actually go wider up here. Maybe I'll do that. I figured the more I can tie into this floor pan that removes with the floor pan, the better off I'll be. I'm trying to put it all back together. If I could have half of the trans cover come out with this floor pan and half come out with the other floor pan, and then I just have to run a piece up the middle to join them together, I think would be ideal. I cut that too short here. I have to remember that height's right. I think my overall shape's good. I need to make something like that that's about 2 inches longer. I can always adjust that later. And I believe that piece I can make all on the shear. Okay, I was able to find a piece of metal that is awful close to the size I need it. All I gotta do is cut this line here, cut some off the ends. It should be good. Is go from point A to point B and include all these other points in between. What I'm going to try to do is get this started over here, and then I'll have to work my way around. A little bit of pressure on it to close that gap, and then when I get here I'll have to bend it back so I can make that final run. But I think I get this first part welded on pretty secure. Just a little bit of slope to it, then we'll start marking our way around. Go ahead and clean the surface on this one. That seemed to help quite a bit on that last piece. Okay guys, I really didn't feel like messing with trying to film all that because of the process of cutting the fit. Kind of doing this trans tunnel is kind of like doing pie cuts for exhaust, in the sense that I'm having to take a straight and make it curve and cut and weld. And so this is the way it's looking at this point. The driver's side, I still have I got a lot of pie cut and booger welds to fix on, a lot of gaps, but I'll take care of that when I get my wire feed welder going again, my MIG welder. And then here's the passenger side, I got a good start on it. Still have some more tweaking to do. Clean it up, and once again finish out the pie cut, the seams, and the booger welds. Grind them down and fix what can be fixed. Yeah, you can see right here, right now I got this side's up higher. I get that in place right, then I'll bend this down so that they're both in the same spot, and then I'll work on a centerpiece that will bolt. That way it's 3 pieces, the centerpiece, and then the left and right piece is what I'm thinking at this point, because I should be able to get by with basically a big triangle for the top piece, a little curve to it. Fingers crossed. I know I'm going to have to get back into the wiring and take all of it out and redo it, because I didn't document, I didn't do any drawings whenever I was wiring it, and it looks decent enough, and maybe it'll come back to me once I get into it, but I have to take it all loose anyway to route it through a grommet through the firewall, and so I'll have to take it all apart anyway, or not all of it, but the majority of it. I need to rerun my brake lights. I had issues with those. I think I had a pinched wire that was causing problems. So that's where I'm at so far. Today is 27th, February 27th. I still have a couple more months till the car show, but I've got more to do than just this. I'm pretty happy with the leg room I've gained and the foot spacing in general. It's a lot better than it was. I was really dreading the thought of trying to move what's basically the back half of the car to make room for to scoot the seat back, because this is all, my suspension runs to here and down here. So basically I'd have to cut it off of the axle, scoot it out, scoot these pieces out so I could get in between there and there further back for a seat. I don't see that being not an easy option. Now if this was just a little bit wider from here to here, then I could go ahead and do a cut in for a seat. Move the master cylinder again. I could go ahead and move it to right here, just directly right in the floor, and have it accessible from the top. Anywho, I did have firewall out for a little bit earlier. I had moved some stuff around. I'm still thinking I need to move the positioning of my gas pedal up and get my feet in there. And it's about mid-foot. I think I need to be up more like this. But anyway, I've spent a lot of hours on this today, just welding and bending and hitting and grinding and welding and cutting and bending and grinding, welding and bending and hitting and grinding and welding and cutting and bending and grinding. I wish I had my MIG welder going. I know I'm blowing out a lot of material because I'm having gaps and trying to do a lot of butt welds, and just not going good. Anyway, I was thinking about calling it a day. It is 5:30. I thought I was going to work after midnight. Now it looks like I'm not going to work till tomorrow morning, so I can go ahead and stay out here later and sleep like a normal person tonight.
3 hours later.
I've got as much done as I'm going to get done on this video, but I'll go ahead and show you what I've accomplished. And I know it looks odd, but that's basically staying as close to the transmission as I could without getting into it. And it's a lot more leg room to it for sure. So I'm going to go ahead and put it back in, and I'm going to call it a night. Let's see how it fits. There's still a lot of holes and gaps that I'll go back and fill in when I get my MIG welder up and going again. I could try to do it with the arc welder, but that's how holes got in there in the first place, so I'm not going to. I think I've done enough for this video. Next video I'll have it finished out and all secured down and trimmed up nice, and all the holes will be fixed, and it will be secured to the firewall. I'm gonna run bolts along the front of it to tie it in with the firewall, and then I'll be ready to start looking at the wiring, fixing the wiring back the way it was before I took it all apart. So that's it. Rain's getting kind of loud now, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. This is Glenn for GMP Custom Fabrications, living the dream till the freaking phone rings. Thanks for watching. Oh, this is why I don't like messing with the camera when I'm trying to actually work on stuff, because it's everywhere I want it at. Okay, so I'm gonna